a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Greatly appreciate it. We've got a great lineup for you today. Attorney Jason Kobal, he's our legal analyst, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking about defamation lawsuits, work comp law, and some of the other national news that you've been hearing as well, coming up here on today's show, as well as Jared Parker. We got an economist on the show. I love speaking with him. Jared Parker does a great job. He's as an economist, kind of keeping us in tune of what's happening in the economy and, of course, things in Florida as far as up-and-coming projects, things of that nature. Gunnar Branecki as well, our home security and automation expert as well, coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we want to give a shout-out and a big thank you to Lawn Anglers, Adam Long with his team. They do a great job on all of our real estate properties, taking care of the lawn, the landscape. Lawn Anglers, make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Lawn maintenance, landscaping, mulching, tree trimming, and more. Lawn Anglers, Adam Long, does a great job on our properties. Highly recommend talking to him as well. And a couple hot listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, one of the top real estate teams here in Tampa Bay, or actually the top 100 ranked team. Keller Williams is the #1 real estate company in the planet. And what we do is we feature our listings live on air. It's part of our strategy that helps our sellers sell faster for more money, maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of our real estate properties. 860 The Answer, 1025 The Bone, Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, so many different ways we're maximizing exposure for our real estate listings. Couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F. This is $1 million listing of ours. Great opportunity to own a beachfront property right on the beach. And one of the best things, only $250 a month for your HOA. Super low HOA fee. This is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, just about 2,000 square feet. Beachfront condo, Indian Shores. You have granite countertops, mosaic backsplash, beautiful cherry hardwood flooring. Beautiful property here in Tampa Bay. The best part is you walk out your front door and you head towards the beach. You walk just past your heated private pool, and you're on the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Pinellas County, Indian Shores. 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F, one of our $1 million listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Just did a price improvement on that property as well. All right, got a commercial property here, 6901 46th Avenue North, St. Petersburg. Commercial property here in Pinellas County. This is a mixed-use property. You have commercial up front, residential in the back. Great place, opportunity to store an RV, a boat, or work truck. Commercial property up front as well. This is a great opportunity. Where are my commercial buyers, investors? I want to talk to you. 6901 46th Avenue North, St. Petersburg. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
All right, going to the phone lines here. We got Jason Kobal, attorney Jason Kobal, back on the show. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Brandon. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Let's jump right into it. So what are you seeing? Let's start off on a local level. Any new law changes, anything happening in your world?
Yes. You know, I feel like I'm always complaining about this, but I can't help it. The governor changed our laws and car accidents for personal injury, and it is drastically limited compared to how it was, and it limited the rights for people who are injured in car accidents that aren't their fault, and it even limited it cut the statute of limitations in half from 4 years to 2 years now. You only have to bring a claim. So insurance companies made out, and my clients now have less benefits and longer waits to get to trial, unfortunately.
Oh, man, that's a bummer. What's the counter argument there? I mean, wouldn't you think within 2 years, though, like most people will know if they'll have, ongoing issues from an accident, or am I mistaken on that?
It's tough. For example, we had a case recently. It was such an interesting one. It was, we're not going to name the company because they're out of it at this point. We settled with them, but a big delivery company hit and run my client, ran her off the road, and then tried to drive off. And luckily, we were able to hire an investigator who discovered it from a camera that just happened to be on someone's employee parking lot that caught it. And then we were able to track down that company. And then through that case, through that discovery, we were able to unveil another general contractor who had left a cement pipe, a huge pipe, that my client rammed into where it shouldn't have been on the side of the road, so that party didn't even get added into the case until 2.5 years into the case, because it just took that while to figure it out through discovery. So, yeah, it is unfortunate to cut it down from 4 to 2. It does come into play.
I see. So there's different situations where that could, hamper the case. I understand. I see what you're saying there.
Yep.
Let's see. So you also help people with workers' comp. What are you seeing on the workers' comp side?
Well, workers' comp is it's tough because every state is different, and Florida is considered one of the worst ones for injured workers. We don't have a lot of the union strength that they have up north and whatnot, and it's very much an employer-friendly environment here down in Florida. But I tell you what, Zoom has changed the world, not only in other practices, even my area of law is completely different now. We go to mediations, it's done via Zoom, depositions are done on the phone. I mean, pretty much everything except trials now electronic. And same with workers' comp. Now a lot more people are working from home. And, hey, if you're working, doing your job, and then you trip at home, but guess what? If you're in the course and scope of your employment, that's a work comp case. So it's brought some interesting new cases into the environment.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. If you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friend of the show. Thank you for supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show by reaching out to our hotline, 727-263-3707. You can call or text that hotline, 727-263-3707. We got Jason Kobal on the line, local attorney. If you have legal questions, we can put you in touch with him. And if it's something outside of his range, he can either refer somebody to you, or we have other great attorneys associated with the show as well. So reach out to the show at consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. I want to shift gears, talk a little national news here. Can you update us on this Fani Willis situation? I mean, the Trump trial, what they're doing to President Trump is just unbelievable. It's amazing that more people aren't standing up. I feel like there needs to be more pushback here against the deep state, whether it's New York or Atlanta, these different frivolous type of cases. And I hope at some point he's able to countersue them as well for what they're doing. But we'll see how that plays out. What's your thoughts about this Fani Willis?
Well, I'm slowly watching this embarrassment play out where we've crossed this line now, like a third world country where we're trying to jail a political opponent. I mean, these cases are utterly ridiculous, particularly the one in Fulton County. But sometimes instant karma plays out, and every now and then you learn a lesson. And Fanny learned this week that you don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house yourself. It turns out that Fani Willis is the district attorney who charged Trump in Fulton County for trying to steal the election, so she claims, hired her boyfriend, who was a personal injury attorney like me, not a prosecutor, and she hired him to be the prosecutor who's going to go after one of the first in history to ever go after a POTUS, and he doesn't even have experience as a prosecutor. He's a personal injury attorney, and she paid him over $600,000 in a year's time, and during that time, he took her on 6 trips. So I don't know what kind of prosecutor has enough time to do 6 vacations as they're prosecuting a president, but Fannie was able to pull that off. And, of course, that's taxpayer money, and the trips were purchased on his credit card that was paid by the county. And Fannie says that it wasn't a benefit to her, though, because she paid him cash for all the trips that she went on. She just happened to have a large stash of cash at home. And, of course, there's no proof of these payments. So it's just disgusting, but it goes to show the type of people that are crossing these lines for the first time ever in our country's history. And so I do hope that the judge disqualifies her. We can't have a prosecutor hiring their boyfriend with no experience and wasting taxpayer money like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the New York case is ridiculous. You had just recently Shark Tank, the Shark Tank contributor and star of the Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, that was coming out, and he was talking about I heard a clip of him, and then here's a quote that I have off of Right Side Broadcasting, I think it was, says O'Leary blasted the decision as un-American, arguing that it would set a dangerous precedent for the entire real estate industry due to its being unjust. So they're talking about the way that they've misvalued some of their assets, the Trump empire, and then they even hit the kids for like $4 million apiece. It's sickening. It's unbelievable that more and more people aren't seeing it. Maybe they are, and I'm underestimating it. It's just my point of view. It's my opinion, but I believe that we'll find out in November, and we've got to beat the spread. We've got to beat the spread of how do they frame that, the spread of basically cheating, like they did last time, stuffing the ballots and everything.
That's funny. I was just watching this morning. Newt Gingrich said that the Republicans have to beat the Democrats by at least an additional 5% than they would have normally, just to to cover the cheating and the mail-in voting scams.
Yeah, that's true. Jason Kobal here, attorney Jason Kobal on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Here's another interesting story that I came across through. If you look at these big cities, and a lot of them are moving to Florida, so I guess we shouldn't complain too much being in the real estate industry here. A lot of people are moving to Florida, buying up real estate, so we appreciate that on one hand, and on the other, this is interesting though, because the mayor of Chicago. Listen to this clip, and then we'll comment on this.
Look at Chicago. In the city of Chicago, it is quite common just right now, year to date, just since New Year's, 40 shot and killed in Chicago, 192 shot and killed, 232 total shot, and 47 total homicides. By the way, the vast majority of these murders go unsolved. No arrests, no indictments. Did you know that?
And here's what it leads to. Here's another clip. It's this program they have up there called Hot. It's a spotter shooting. It's a system where a shot spotter, where the guns, they can pick up where the gunfire comes from. The mayor's getting rid of it. Listen to this clip.
So there's a technology called Shot Spotter. It's not overly sophisticated, but it's very effective. Shot Spotter, effectively, as a shooting happens, because they put up basically audio configurations on the streets of Chicago. It detects where gunshots happen in a city. It's very effective, and it can save lives. Well, Mayor Johnson, who is the new, of course, mayor of Chicago, who is a race Marxist, he says, we got to get rid of this shot spotter. This shot spotter thing is a racist.
I love the tongue roll there. But yeah, we live in a country that criminals are exalted and victims are ignored and overlooked and treated poorly, Jason.
Yeah, and the race card is overplayed. I would love to hear the explanation for how that's racist. Finding out, where the gunfire came from. I don't know how race plays a role in that.
Yeah, exactly.
That definitely is their fallback card, it seems.
And the same thing with Fannie. I was just going to mention that too. She was also, pulling that card as well when she was on trial.
Oh yeah, no, of course. And then she had her father come in and do the same thing. So it's just utterly ridiculous how that gets overused.
Yeah, it really is. All right, let's take a quick break. Coming back, more with attorney Jason Kobal. He can help you here locally. Work comp law, personal injury law. Also handles defamation suits. So we'll talk a little bit about that on the flip side here of this break. Stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you. Do us a big favor. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're really close to hitting a new milestone on YouTube. Brandon Rhymes Realty and the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, check out our Rumble channel as well. And we'll be right back. ConsumerQB.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next? Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite. Sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
Hey, we're back. Brandon Rhymes here in studio, talking with attorney Jason Kobal coming up here in just a moment. I want to talk about defamation lawsuits coming up here with him in just a moment. Before we do, quick shout out to our friends at Heights Soft Wash, pressure washing company here in Tampa Bay. Shout out to our friends at Heights Soft Wash. You can find them online, heightssoftwash.com. Ramin and his team, they do a great job cleaning our real estate properties, residential, commercial properties. heightssoftwash.com. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, a couple of hot listings here for the Consumer Quarterback Show for this segment. We have a property on the river in Newport Richey. This is 5930 River Road, Newport Richey, Florida. You got 80 feet of frontage on the Cody River. Beautiful formal dining room with chandelier, stainless glass. This is 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, and you have almost 2,000 square feet, over a half acre of land, 80 feet of frontage on the Cody River. 5930 River Road, Newport Richey, Florida. Another one of our beautiful waterfront real estate listings right here in Tampa Bay. Also, commercial property at 2907 North Florida Avenue. This one is listed just under $3 million, and this property is large. It's 12,000 plus square feet. You have 2 buildings on site. One is rented out, currently around $6,500 a month in income coming in. You have a corner lot location, 3/4 of an acre, almost 30 parking spaces there as well. New electrical systems, plumbing, stucco, all completed. Now, this property is also for rent as well. You could lease it out or buy it. 2907 North Florida Avenue in Tampa, and you can see all of our real estate listings at platinumcoastalelite.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Jason, now you've done some defamation lawsuits as well. What's the latest around that area?
Oh man, that is a very hot topic that most people don't even realize it's a hot topic, because there's definite some abuse being done here by our mainstream media. I mean, we all see it. The media coverage against President Trump is grossly biased, and they're downright nasty with the way they spin things. But I am honored to say that thanks through connections I made on your show, I've been involved in cases this past 2 years against CNN, Washington Post, and some of the major players in the fake news problem. And I've had the honor of representing family members of General Flynn, Devin Nunes, Truth Social, President Trump's company, and it's been a great moment in my career, and I'm honored that I was involved in those cases. But what we have here is, unfortunately, a lot of these mainstream outlets, if you look at their, the high-ups with their owners and whatnot, and the executives, you'll see a lot of the same players that are high up in our government have relatives in the media. So a lot of the deep state is entrenched in our media. And the New York Times v. Sullivan case gives the media outlets protection where you have to prove actual malice. You can't, if a regular person defames somebody, tells a lie that damages them, you could sue them just from negligence, that they shouldn't have told that lie or they should have known better. But to sue a media outlet, you need to be able to prove malice. And it's like almost very close to intent, to criminal intent standards. So it's a lot tougher to sue these companies, and they know that, and they abuse that protection just as our politicians in Congress like to go on the news outlets and tell mistruths and lies, and that's because they're protected from defamation cases. So we have some major big players in our system, the media outlets and our members of Congress that are abusing the protections they have for defamation cases.
Wow. Yeah, it really is, man. It's pretty crazy because it's tough to pierce that veil in a sense. And you see, I watched Candace Owens' documentary about BLM and some of the things that they did, buying large mansions, was the joke around that. But it was interesting to see, too, the way that they misutilized the money, and they were basically funneling the money to these separate nonprofit organizations who, by the way, haven't filed, as of the recording of that movie, have not filed their latest IRS forms. But yeah, it was all a big scheme. It was a big scheme and a scam in a sense that would enrich Democrat donors, and in a sense, what it did, it would also it was really heavily related to the LGBT crowd, and it was funneling money to train people. They were training protesters in a sense, is what they're doing. And that's what she said at one point. She is educated as a trained Marxist. So it's pretty crazy to see how this has all come about in these last 4, 5, 6 handful of years, basically.
Yeah, these are scary times. There are times I've never, ever thought I would see one of our presidential candidates being targeted like President Trump has been. But these are, we didn't ask for this, but we're in it. So it's a battle right now. And I just hope that we could all, get behind President Trump and get our country back on track. It's been crazy the last couple of years.
Well, it seems like there might be an effort by the truckers coming out as well. Here's a clip.
A group of truckers are boycotting deliveries to New York City in response to the $355 million fine levied against former President Donald Trump. The calls for a boycott gained traction after a trucker known as Chicago Ray put out a viral video on social media declaring that many truckers are halting deliveries as soon as today.
I've been on the radio talking to drivers for about the last hour 15 minutes. I'm talking to at least 10 drivers going the other way. I'm heading down from South Wisconsin. They're going to start refusing loads in New York City starting on Monday.
There you go. So let's see. Maybe that'll pick up some traction.
That made my day. I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's what we need more of, people stepping up like that. If you think about that situation in that case, it's disgusting. I mean, the whole theory, there's no victims. These are loans that the banks could have gotten their own experts. They could have, if they thought the amounts were too high, they could have fought them and had their own evaluations done. But the witnesses said they were happy to enter the loans they did, and the loans were repaid, and everybody's happy. So where's the damage? Nobody was damaged yet. They're going to tag them for $350 million. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. And even I think the governor of New York was speaking out saying, hey, this is kind of an unprecedented thing. I don't understand how people can own a business up there and just not see this. And I think they're probably trying to position themselves to move out of the state. There's got to be a movement.
And then along those lines, but I didn't know this. I was always wondering why do they want people from the left to enter our country unvetted? Why is the southwestern border wide open? And I thought it was just so they eventually think those people are going to vote for them. But now I've heard there's politicians on both sides that want those immigrants coming over illegally, and they want to bust into New York and all these cities to make up for all the people that have been leaving those cities because of all the crime-ridden areas and whatnot. A lot of people have moved up.
I think it's not out of the realm to think that they are going to turn them to an Antifa-type force as well. I think that's a possibility. Jason Kobal Law, check him out online and also on our website at consumerqb.com. Jason, thanks a lot. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Brandon.
My pleasure. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. You can find Jason on our website as well, consumerqb.com. Coming up, economist Jared Parker in the house. We're going to talk with Jared about what he's seeing out there. Regional Economic Consulting Group coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And